episode of What the Frank Sports. I am your host, Chris, and I'm here with my co-host, Lee, and we're here to talk about what happened in the NBA last week. Now, I did want to mention two games specifically that were blowouts. In the first game, the LA Clippers were taking on the Dallas Mavericks. And at halftime, the score was 77-27. 27 points. Can you believe that?
Is the being down by 50 is the worst part at halftime.
Now, I will say this, Lee. The LA Clippers were without Kawhi Leonard, but
no excuse.
They went on to lose the game by 51 points, which makes it worse.
Yeah.
Brings me to the second game, which was the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat, a repeat of last year's playoff matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And in that game, the Milwaukee Bucks hit 29 three-pointers. They went on to win the game 144-97.
Yeah, I think everybody on the team made at least 1 3 except for Giannis. But everybody else, even the people at the end of the bench, made a 3 on that team. Yeah, so that's crazy.
That's amazing. You had Brook Lopez out there hitting 2 threes a game on average. Lee, what do you think it is? You think these high scores that we're seeing are due to the evolution of the three ball?
I think it does have to do with that because I think that the Warriors end up changing how the game is played. And you mentioned this before, like Mike D'Antoni, that system of we're just going to outscore you. So Mike D'Antoni came up with that system of we're just going to outscore you for the most part. But then the Warriors, they're like, we're going to hit the threes while we let you hit the twos. And so that really changed the nature of the NBA game because then you had teams trying to emulate that in order to beat them, like the Houston Rockets, like the Milwaukee Bucks. So a lot of these teams, every team has Splash Brothers now. That's why personally I think that the Warriors, their dynasty is over because that style of play, a lot of teams are doing that style of play now. And so it just changed the game. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they helped the game evolve. But where I say it's not just a three, it may be the defense. I feel like sometimes, do you think that the defense is lacking compared to the early 2000s and the 90s and the 80s? What do you think?
I will say this. You bring up a great point on the defense. When you just look at the two games I just brought up, they were blowouts. I mean, the score was 144 points. How can you score that many points?
That's an all-star game score. They don't really play any defense in all-star games. That's usually what they're scoring is like 144 points in those type of games. They gave this up in a regular season matchup, which is –
I think you're absolutely right. It has to do with the defense too. And what I will always say is with the evolution of the game, the players had better training, a better skill, more analysis. They call it, what do they call it? Data analysis on the game. Mm-hmm. So you can see and look at certain lineups and how they're going to perform. And even they have stretch fives now. So there's not that dominant big man who's in the lane who could be a rim protector. Mm-hmm. So I think that contributes with the poor defense that we see. And also you're not allowed to be as physical as you were back in the day.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
If you were to put together a team of average Joes, your friends, how many points do you think that you could score in an NBA game today?
Well, I have to start off and say, if I was to compete with my friends who played any of people that I knew that played basketball, and some of the people I know played Division I level, so they were very talented. If we played a full 48 minutes, I don't believe we can score 50 points.
Yeah, so you think you guys will have around 50, 40, 50?
I think we would probably be able to get around 35 points. 35 points for a full 48 minutes. Now, that's if we were in our peak condition. So if we were in our athletic prime, if I got the best team or of players that I played with or I knew growing up, I think we could score 35 points against the NBA team. You think that's high or low?
I think that's on the high side. So you say you're not gonna score. You're not gonna score 50. You're definitely not gonna score 50. I don't think. When I think about it, I remember when I was in college and I was playing against some of the players. So if you guys don't know, me and Chris went to college together. We played football. We went to Culver Stockton College. It's an NAIA school. But one day I was playing against some of the basketball players, and man, they were so rangy, and I couldn't really get the separation. I needed to get the points off. Um, and so when you look at the NBA, that was just NAIA. When you look at going up to D1, and then from there going up to the NBA, they're even rangier. They're even taller. They're more skilled. They're better. They're smarter as far as the game goes. I don't know if we'll have a tough time scoring 25 points in 48 minutes. They would have to let us shoot from the outside, and then we would have to do our part to knock it down in order to score 25.
Now, I will say this, Lee. You may be on to something there. The only way I think we would get close to that 35-point mark is if they call a lot of fouls. But I want to share this story with our audience today. One time, Lee and I, we grew up together. We played sports in the same hometown, same college. So we were on break from college, and we were back in our hometown, Springfield, Illinois. And we had an opportunity to go out to Springfield Public Park, and we played against Andre Iguodala. And boy, he dominated the whole game. I remember this one time, he threw the ball off my head, crossed me over, threw it off the backboard, and dunked it. I was like, where's the double team at? Where's the double team at, Lee?
He wanted me to double team. I was trying not to get embarrassed. No, but the funny thing is Chris is not exaggerating, not one bit. He seriously did put it between his legs, bounced it off of Chris's head. Chris made the face when he got the ball bounced off his head and went around and dunked. But the funny thing is it was like Rucker Park out there, where there was a crowds of people out there. Everybody came to see Andre playing. The crowd was going wild. The other team was talking trash, although nobody on the other team was scoring. All they did was pass it to Andre, let him go to work, and they was talking like they were doing something. But I remember one time, I'm a competitor. So I was kind of getting a little annoyed because the crowd was going wild and everything. And so I remember he ripped somebody on our team, and I knew he was going to go down on the fast break to dunk. So I had ups back in the day. As a matter of fact, 3 years ago, I still grabbed rim jumping from vert. About pulled my hamstring, but I did it, and that was in my 30s. So I knew he was going to go down and dunk. So I was like, okay, if I could get my hand above the rim, maybe I might be able to contest it, right? Dribbling down, I'm running down. He goes up, I go up. Man, I think my hand only got to his waist, and this man poked it, and the crowd was there, it was going wild. And man, I just had to eat crow on that. I don't know what I was thinking. In hindsight, I don't know what I was thinking. I think my competitive nature got the best of me, had me thinking I could do something that I couldn't do. And that was just one NBA player.
I tell you what, if they had video phones back in the day, we probably would have been on World Star.
Viral, man, all up in our face, poking on us.
He threw the ball off my head like an N1 mixtape and went between my legs and then dunked it. This was
his rookie year, so he was just leaving Arizona. So this was his rookie year. So imagine having a team full of Andre Iguodala's on that, and I think. Personally, I think Andre is a future Hall of Famer. I think he's put together a great career. He's an all-star, multi finals winner, finals MVP. He's won multiple championships. Helped take Miami to the championship last year. So shout out to Andre. I think he's a great player. But man, imagine a team full of Andres. We're trying to score and compete against them. I don't know, man.
Hey, with my ball handling skills, I couldn't even get the ball up the court. I had to back him down all the way from
Chris
half
used to
court.
do. He used to back people down from half court all the way. Just use his size like Mark Jackson. Hey, you remember when we were at the we had that team at the YMCA. And this wasn't even NBA players, and we was getting blown out the gym.
They put a running clock on us. Hey, the running clock rule was if you were down by 30 points, the clock would just run in the second half. And by the end of the season, we couldn't even find enough players to play with us. We were getting blown out so bad.
and this wasn't even NBA players, man. So if they doing us like that, what would NBA players be doing us like? I don't know, man. That's
We
a
might
tall
be lucky
task.
to get 15 points. I think it really depends on their motivation. Like if they were out to really just shut us down, like if we hit a certain amount of points,
Yeah.
maybe they got a bonus or something. That would really tell, because sometimes if teams are blowing you out, they might let you get some garbage points.
Hey, Chris, you used to be one of our big men. You used to be like our power forward. Could you imagine guarding Shaquille O'Neal in the paint?
Oh man, he would block my shot. He would knock me to the ground every time. I'm still trying to figure out how I ended up on the defense assignment of Andre Iguodala. That was a setup.
Oh, man, I don't know. And I feel like the team that we had was a decent pickup team, but we just weren't on that level that day. I think if they
Not
didn't
at
have
all.
Andre, we would have beat the team that he had. We would have beat them, but they just had Andre. So.
And I agree. I agree with everything you said. He is definitely a Hall of Famer in my book. Go down as one of the best Springfield, Illinois athletes in history. So salute to Andre Iguodala. Keep doing great things.
Yep. All right. So you guys go ahead and let us know in the comments below. If you guys were to put together a team, how many points do you guys think that you guys could score on an NBA team? Team of average Joes versus NBA team. Go ahead and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we appreciate you guys. This is Lee with WTFrank Sports. Yeah.
And they would dominate us. Yes.